What's good, gang, gang? Lovely Soul Empress here, coming to do another live for you guys. Okay, now this live is basically a part two, okay? So Saturday, when I did the little live on the porch about, what we were gonna be, what my spirit guides was telling me about what the Lion's Gate would bring us. As soon as I got off from there, I saw that the World Health Organization had also said that the monkeypox had now become a worldwide emergency. They classified it as an emergency. They didn't classify it as a pandemic just yet. What's good, BJ? What's good, Leah Lou? And oddly enough, when we did, and it was a couple readings, because I was talking about this with one of my clients, okay? And on the summer solstice, I had told everyone to go meditate in the sun before the sun went down. And I did it too. And the next day I came on and did a channeling about what download I had received in that meditation. Part of that, and I think the reading was called Solar Flares. And part of what I had received was that there was another strain of something coming. And then I had did the Who part one. Okay. Now, when I was talking to my client, she actually reminded me of something, because I said to her, when I saw that, I was like, that could have been the strain that spirit was talking about in that channeling. And she turned around and said to me, well, don't you remember, what's good, Pink? Don't you remember in one of those readings you had said that there was another, what's good, Tamila? I was just talking about you. I was saying that we had that conversation about the original download that I had received about another strain or something coming out. And she reminded me, she was like, don't you remember in the other reading you were saying that something, it would be another like a STD, and that it would be more geared to men, right? So fast forward to now. Okay, so I want to cover a couple things that I always do research before I come on here. I don't want to be talking shit and not knowing what I'm talking about. So I looked up the numbers. Let's start with the numbers. I looked up the numbers for what's going on here in the States, okay? I think Sunday when I looked, it said it was in 28 states. And when I looked today, it said 32. You remember two, as Leah Lou. Okay. So so it is spreading. It looks like, most of the states have a case or two of what's going on. And I say that lightly because I also researched how many numbers we have in the states, okay? And it was over 2,500 in total. And I also saw that at 2 weeks ago it was 600. So this is a pretty, it's increasing at a pretty good clip, okay? So I feel like Spirit wanted us to talk about the confirmation. Now, before we start pulling cards, I do want to say something, because, some of yous that watch me may not, have remembered or been born when the HIV started, okay? And when HIV first started, I was like, well, I should say once it started getting really a lot of play on the news, I was in my early teens. And I remember they didn't know if it was coming from cats. They just didn't know, because there was a few cats that had caught similar symptoms. they didn't know where it was coming from. They didn't know who could get it. They didn't know how you could get it, right? And right away, they were like, it's a gay disease, okay? And I'm bringing this up because they're saying the same thing about this monkeypox. And I have to say a cautionary tale. Okay, cautionary tale, guys. Don't believe everything you read. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they may not have enough information. Okay, and you know, that went wild where people were like, oh, it's just something that homosexuals transmit. And although they, you know, they may have had a higher concentration, the reality is that anybody could get it. And I feel like same thing applies here, guys. Same things apply here. Okay, I don't want to get into the whole like why, you know, men would get it more or it would show faster or whatever. I think that's not, you know, we're not here. This isn't a medical channel, right? But I feel like what they're saying is that we need to pay attention. Okay, and the other thing that Spirit had put to me as soon as I saw the report, it was like, bet you they won't ignore this, right? And the reason why was because Spirit showed me like somebody's face, right? So in other words, this is going to be more visual. So whereas when we had the pandemic and everybody went, you know, inside, they were dealing with something that was not visible. And so people were aggravated. They wanted to get back to their life. They wanted to do their own thing. And they didn't like the restrictions, right? But I feel like people are going to feel differently this time because it's going to be something that they can see. So in other words, people will only take seriously what they see. Okay, now that doesn't mean that this is going to be more serious than the other situation. This situation may not impact us in the same way. But I do feel like the visual portion of it is going to be something that changes the way the public looks at it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say before I get started. All right, so Spirit. All right, we're going to go with the Earth Warriors. And we're going to see what Spirit has to say about this. Maybe they'll tell us something about the confirmation that we had. But either way, we're definitely, you know, Spirit has been on point these last several months telling us like what's coming. Okay, so I feel like we should check and see what Spirit has to say about this situation. I have a feeling that this situation won't reach the levels that the other one did. But I feel like it's going to impact differently is what Spirit is saying. Okay, so let's see what Spirit has to say. Can you show me, Spirit? What would you like us to know about this whole situation? I also feel like origin stories are always in question, okay? Taking the HIV situation, there were many different origin stories, okay? So if you're following what I'm saying, you know, don't just, because I feel like a lot of time the first story we get is misinformation, okay? At the bottom of the deck, White Buffalo Woman, happy heart, set her sign. Okay, so let me just take a look at that. But what I'm getting from that is that this has to do with us concentrating on our herbal medicine. Got that very strongly looking at that card. White Buffalo Woman, where are you? Where is the 206? See if they have an abbreviated. I don't want to be here all day with this. In a reading, the oracle signifies hope and reunion after challenging or dark time. There will be harmony and a coming together in sacred purpose for putting pain or conflict behind you. A birth of something pure and true shall happen under the auspices of spirit. Forgive yourself and others and lay claim to the purity and goodwill that your heart's true nature, that is your heart's true nature. Spiritual blessing is bestowed. Your actions are in accord with heaven. Complete release and renewal shall take place. The good and the true will triumph in the end. Have faith, for your prayers are being answered. So the first thing that I'm getting when I'm reading this, first of all, stay on top of your nutritional health. Also with the herbs, okay? I feel like and I'll check with spirit if they want me to put out some type of recipe, because I feel like what they're saying is we need to have our hands covered. Our hands covered. Okay, so I'll have to do that off, I'll have to ask my ancestors what they want from that. But I feel like that's the first thing. The second thing is when it says here something about the birth of something pure shall happen under the auspices of spirit. So this secondary situation that we have going on, it's like a push for reality. Okay, so I feel like that first time, we just talked about like people were incredulous. They didn't believe what was going on. There was a lot of people who weren't, what's the right word? They didn't give a shit if other people were at risk. Like they just were in very selfish mode. And I feel like a lot of that had to do with the propaganda, yes. But in addition, the spirit said propaganda, and I'm like, yes, propaganda, but it also had to do with the fact that people couldn't see this, okay? And this time is going to be different. All right, so I feel like part of what this is going to bring is like a renewed interest in communal health. Okay, you also got inner reading for this. This says Viracocha, humor the light. Okay, so it says prepare around you. Perhaps even you can sometimes get caught up in the troubles of the world and forget to focus on the light and their own creative power. Gently but persistently remind yourself and others to ask for divine help. This can be done according to each individual belief system. Prayer will be answered. Focus on the light at a specific moments during each day. Place sacred objects in your line of vision so you see them and remember the light often. You are a light worker, a light bearer, one who is divinely designed to receive and transmit light for the benefit of humankind and Mother Earth. You have more influence in situations to bring about divine conclusions than you may realize. Don't be afraid to use your light in all ways possible. So first off, the first thing that spirit said to me while I'm reading this, right? They're like talking in my ear. And it's basically, they showed me making something that will spiritually protect us. Spiritually protect us, okay? So they're gonna give me a recipe later, okay? And it's gonna be for an oil that you put on your hands, your face, and your feet, okay? And this is to keep you spiritually covered. So once I commune with my guides, I will come back on and do a separate thing about that. But I feel like, and I'm not gonna charge for that because spirit just showed me. So I'm gonna make a recipe and I will let you guys know about that. Okay, so that was the second card. The third card, Amaru, beautiful place. And I feel like what Spirit's saying is, been told y'all you're protected. You're protected, okay? Because you have this mission. Remember, we kept getting that dual mission card, right? So for this Amaru, it says, don't be scared to face a problem head on. You don't need to be willful about a solution. But in meeting the issue, you shall simplify the complexity and recognize the practical steps that will create healing change. Keep your mind and heart open as You ask for unconditionally loving guidance on how to evoke divine healing in your situation. An outcome is available to you that is far more beautiful and divinely inspired than what you can currently envision. Ask for divine help and trust unconditionally in the assistance that will lead you from limitations of your current thinking into the perfection of what the divine wishes for you and our world, okay? So I feel like Spirit's telling you that you are covered, okay? But do not run from problems, okay? And you know, it's funny that it used don't be scared to face problems head on. And I was reading about how it's transmitted. Okay, and it was saying, you know, it can be from saliva, bodily fluids, and the like, which is why they're leaning towards you know, some people getting it through sexually transmitted. What's good through Maddie's eyes, but it also said prolonged face-to-face contact. Okay, so this is like, you know, when you boot up and shit, right? So let's not go on, you know, any new dates with somebody and be all up in their face and we don't know where they've been at and shit. You feel me? Okay? Or even somebody who has multiple partners. This ain't the season for that shit. Okay? So you have number 10 here, Kaitaki, guardian of Papa Tunanku. Okay, I might be saying that shit wrong, you know. These are tongue twisters. Okay. And it says, in a reading, make peace and let go of past issues around abandoned or not understood or feeling unsupported, as those experiences need no longer color your worldview. Trust that you belong here and that your connection to the earth goddess will support you in all ways. You are sensitive and rightly so. Never judge your sensitivity or feel that you are overreacting, but also allow nature to calm and soothe you so that you can focus on accomplishing your soul mission. If you feel that you are on your own when you would like some help, allow the Divine Mother to be your friend and guide, whilst trusting that more allies will arrive at the right moment. The Earth Mother has her own sense of timing, and you are not forgotten. You are just growing according to her wisdom and grace. Have faith in yourself and in her, right? And I had been saying that the Divine Mother's returning, and I had been saying that she was doing things to heal herself. And this is part of that. How, I don't know how it fits in, but this may have something to do with people not looking at illnesses as being important. And I feel like that's why something that is visual is coming into play, right? Because the last few things that have happened, you know, over decades have been more things that you can't see, right? This one's going to be something you can physically see, because I feel like they want us to get back into the urgency of working communally, right? And I heard all hands on deck, right? So you got 42 kanini. In each other we find ourselves. Didn't I just say that they want us to work more communally, right? And because of what happened and all the misinformation and people telling people to drink bleach and stupid shit that was happening, right? People felt very misguided. They didn't want to trust organizations. A lot of things has happened in the last few years that have changed people's and shook people's confidence, right? And I feel like this is going to be something to cause people to want to work together or to take things more seriously. Healing is indicated, especially of wounds about connection and trust, safety and tribe, belonging and permission to be unique and individual. At a physical level, more vitality and ample energy for healing are indicated. At a spiritual level, a deepening awareness of unified consciousness is opening up within you, which will bring you into deeper divine communion and increase your effectiveness as a healing presence and sacred activist in the world. You have a destiny to fulfill, and there will be much help from many different people to fulfill it. The universe wants you to succeed. Do not hesitate to ask and receive assistance for fulfillment of your mission. Helps others. Now remember, I was saying that we were all being disseminated to places to be of help, right? That we were leaders in our own right. And I feel like that's what Spirit's talking about here. I feel like Spirit's telling you you're protected. I feel like Spirit's also saying, even if you were to come into contact this, you would survive this, okay? I feel like they're saying there's a bigger purpose for this. Let's get a motivation manifesto. Spirit, can you show me? And I feel like often Spirit has us do these readings because they want us to not be in fear. And I feel like what a lot of things that are happening in the collective are either reported or made in ways to be fearful, right? And this is not about that. This is about understanding what's happening spiritually and also what can we do for ourselves, okay? There's a lot of cards out here. Okay, thank you, Spirit. At the bottom of the deck, by refusing to bend on our values, we become unbreakable, solid, and stable, courageous and certain men and women of valor, worth, and character. Let us build a life we're proud of, right? And, you know, we were talking about how we were going to have to reach back and help others. And I'm getting that energy again. All right. I feel like there's going to be people who are going to be afraid. And maybe that's why they gave me that HIV memory, right? Because people were treated very poorly back then. It was a terrible stigma, and that might be coming. Maybe that's why they're using something visual, okay? So the main motivation of humankind is to be free, to express ourselves, and to pursue our dreams without restriction, to experience what may be called personal freedom. And this was the problem last time, that people were putting personal freedom ahead of the collective. I feel like there's going to be still some of that. And maybe this is why, again, Spirit keeps saying that it's coming through a way that can't be ignored. Visual, okay? All right, we do not need to wait for perfect conditions. We will find perfection in progress, right? I also feel like they're telling me they're going to be trying a lot of different ways. And this one may not be an immunization. I feel like this is going to be something different, or it doesn't come in the same way. It looks like a nasal spray. Okay, you also have here, I won't let others stoke fear in my heart. I choose to remain true to who I am and where my dreams direct me, no matter the hardship I might incur, right? And this is what they're talking about. Remember, spiritually strapped, okay? Remember that you're spiritually strapped, okay? There's going to be people who are going to be fear-mongering. The Spirit's like, you don't have anything to fear, okay? You need to take care of some sanitary issues. Make sure your hands are clean and things like that, right? Make sure you're not all up, booed up in somebody's face you don't even know, like that kind of thing. Okay, now you also have here, our greatest personal power is the ability to take over our impulses and direct our minds to choices and commitments that will serve us. Okay? Personal power, sorry. I heard background noise. Our greatest personal power is the ability to take over our impulses and direct our minds to choices and commitments that will serve us, right? And I feel like that's part of it. That we have to, there's going to be a shift in the way we do things because of this. Okay, so where I am, they just took down some of the plexiglasses in stores, and I feel like they're going to be putting them right back up. I think that part of that is going to become the new normal. What's good, show? Some of it is the new normal. So we're in a new timeline, Spirit is saying, where there's going to be more. So also, Spirit's saying heat. Heat and the temperature and bacteria grows in heat. So there's going to be a lot of new things, right? So we have to be practicing personal hygiene on a new level. Okay? We do not need more time. We need stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. Right? So, you know, this next comment might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. Okay, so there was a big hubbub about the vaccines or whether they were, you know, should they have been released or whatever. And Spirit's talking about time, that it's not about, like, we have to take some risks, because they're also saying that two decades out, there will be something that is very serious. Okay, so these are all like practice runs. So they're changing the way we deal with personal interaction. Okay, it's like smaller, we're going to stay in smaller groups, is what Spirit's saying. Okay, life is meant to be vibrant, deeply felt, growing mosaic along meaningful moments, right? I also feel like this is a two-pronged thing. Not only does it allow smaller groups, allow us to control how things are being spread, but they're also saying that, you know, we got lost up in the big metropolises. We got lost in not being communal, okay? And they're gonna kind of force us back into that, okay? And then you also have here, how many times have we caused ourselves pain because we failed to pause and think, how would my best self view and respond to this situation? So the people who were all incredulous and didn't want to believe shit and didn't want to be, you know, like mindful, and I could tell y'all a story about that. I'm trying not to take too long, but I had met this woman, and she was a mother on my son's football team. And she basically, you know, was saying that she didn't believe and she didn't care, you know, about doing, and I don't care what your beliefs are, but basically she didn't want to have to wear a mask. She didn't care about old people, like all this shit, right? And then it turned out she was the head of the infectious disease department in one of the hospitals that's by me. And I was so infuriated by that because my son has severe asthma. Okay, so whether you believe or not, like, you shouldn't be putting people at risk, okay? But that's neither here or there, right? But Spirit is using her as an example, right? Because those people who were like, well, we just need herd immunity are going to be the first people who are going to be like, oh my God, what's that pimple? Like, you understand? Because it's visual. And I feel like that's why. That's why. Okay, so that's how we ended up with something visual this time. Okay, there is a light all around. There is much to be grateful for in this seemingly dark world. And so all we must do is pull our gaze from the shadow and look to the ocean of the divine light and grace in which we are blessed to live. Right? So basically, Spirit is saying, like, we don't have anything to fear, but we do have to shift. Okay, and those same people, Spirit's saying, the same people who were popping hella shit about the herd immunity and this, that, and the third are going to be the same people who are going to be going hard in the paint to ostracize those people because they're going to be on that bullshit about how it's just a certain segment that they already like to persecute. Okay, so we need to be careful. I feel like Spirit's like, don't jump on that bandwagon, even if it's more people in the way. Like, just like I said with the HIV, there might have been, in the beginning, there was more gay men, okay? But then later on, those demographics switched. So I feel like that's what Spirit is saying there, okay? Spirit, do you want me to get one more oracle? So they don't want us, you know, to be believing or ostracizing groups, because there's going to be a push for that, Spirit saying. There's going to be a push to ostracize certain people, and it's not going to be true. They may be part of, but they're not going to be the cause of. Let's be clear. They could be part of, but not the cause of. Okay? So that's the first thing Spirit wants us to know. Spirit's also telling us to look out for the hypocrites. Okay, the hypocrites who didn't want to take it seriously before, but now they're going to try to use this as a bullhorn to ostracize a particular segment of society that does not deserve that, okay? Exactly, Tamila. Everybody has sex, right? So this concept, you know, wait until, and I said this to my man, I think on Saturday. I said, wait until, you know, one of those people who said that has to go into work and they have the marks, right? And then, you know, they're not going to want to hear, oh, you know, well, that supposedly is just for gay men, because that's fictitious. Okay? If it's transmuted by saliva, we all have saliva. Let's not be stupid here. I hate when they start with the stupid shit. Okay, so you got prosperity here. And Spirit's telling you that even under these circumstances, you're still going to prosper. Okay? But there's also going to be... they may try to make money off of this. So they're showing me masks, but not masks. So it might be something else that they are going to... yeah, it's not an STD, but it can still be spread through ways like an STD. Okay, so, you know, that's what they're saying, okay? So this prosperity, I feel like they're showing something, like they may say we need something. Or that we all should get something because it somehow is going to help us. But I feel like, you know, we need to be cautious. It may just be a money-making thing, okay? Now you have delight here. Let me tell you something. Some of these people are in their glory because they're feeling happy. They're like, oh, you know, they're finally like, okay, what was it that they said before? Something happened and they were saying, oh, like, that's because, oh, I think it was the hurricanes, right? No, it was Haiti. They were saying that Haiti was always getting hit with earthquakes and everything because of voodoo, right? Now, I feel like these people are going to be taking delight, like, oh, you know, it's because of the gays, right? But it's not fucking true. Wait till they find out. They're going to be overly relaxed because they didn't take the last thing seriously. So they're not going to take this thing seriously either. And I feel like Spirit's like, do not fear, but do not be lax. Okay? And then understanding, because what I need from you is understanding. Right? So, yeah, so smart they dumb, right? So I feel like this is gonna come in a way. You see how spirit be knowing. You see how they show an eye, and didn't I say it would be something more visual, right? So what Spirit said, oh, you're gonna understand. Oh, you're gonna get a new perspective. Oh, we gonna make that shit clear. So over the weekend, they had the first 2 cases of children with this, okay? So you got reflection, right? This is gonna cause people to start thinking about how the fuck they've been talking, or how they've been acting, or shit they've been saying, or people they've been judging. They're showing me like a Bible thumping man who was saying this, and then his like teenage son comes home with it, and then, you know, he like says some stuff inappropriate, right? And it comes to find out it's not even like that, right? So there's gonna be some serving of humble pie for a certain segment of society, okay? Now I want to see a little bit about the origins of what we got going on, okay? Because they're always trying to blame certain continents and stuff, and I feel like a lot of these things are man-made. You feel me? So we're gonna check that out as well right now. Spirit, is there anything other that we need to know in reference to this this new development? Let's call it that. Yes, because it has been around for years, but now all of a sudden it's a problem, right? So what's that about? Let's talk about it, right? Okay, so the aggressor comes out crossed. So somebody failed, or they tried to do something. They wanted to be the aggressor in the upfront, right? But somehow they lost some power, okay? Six of Pentacles comes out cross. They wanted more to happen with the last situation, a particular person. I don't know who this person is, okay? And then the Chariot is here, right? But it didn't go as far. It didn't spread as far or as fast as they wanted, or the outcome wasn't what they wanted. You see how reward is here crossed? It wasn't all that they wanted it to be. I'm hearing be all that you can be, right? It's fucking crazy, right? And then you got the Death card here that also came out cross. Like they didn't get the numbers, right? But they're not giving up yet, right? And you got the Comedian here. So I feel like someone with a sense of humor, somebody who maybe is a comedian or is an actor that does comedy, is gonna happen just like, that's why Spirit used the HIV, right? So back, you know, when this was coming to the forefront, I remember, you know, they were classifying certain people and that, but then once it was somebody who they felt was beloved, now it was serious, right? And the person that comes to mind back then was Rock Hudson. I think he was one of Liz Taylor's husbands. And then later on, you know, he met his demise through the virus, right? And I feel like that's, you know, I feel like people are not really going to be mindful of believing until it hits like someone famous, okay? And then that's when people will start looking at making a decision, you know, or speaking of it in a more balanced way and realizing that it's not a certain segment. Okay, I feel like it has to hit somebody that people don't question, which is fucking crazy, but whatever. Okay, now you got returning home in reverse. I feel like this person does not meet their demise. Okay. And with the Five of Wands in reverse, somebody could not be returning home. And the conflict is over with the Hierophant in the upright. I have to get just give you something that was separate from this reading. So the Hierophant symbolizes the Pope of the Tarot. Okay? And I feel like they're talking about the actual Pope and maybe something coming to an end there. And I'll leave that there. I'll leave that up to your discernment. Okay? I think they had been talking about maybe him stepping down. I don't see that happening. I see possibly a homegoing. Okay? And then you got the Seeker in reverse. Okay? Seeker in reverse. Let me get one more. This was also done, okay, for the people who are not woke, who haven't wanted to be woke, like those people who are scragglers that the collective's been trying to pull along, all right? And that they're very concerned with their appearances and such. And it's funny because they show the Queen of Wands here and the Knight of Wands here in reverse, okay? So this is geared towards the young people. See, there's always multiple reasons why Spirit does stuff, right? And it feels here like what Spirit is saying, like, well, we needed something that's going to make younger people a little bit more mindful about being up in close proximity with just anyone. Okay, and they're also trying to push more people into less partners. Okay, there has been in the last few, maybe the decade or two, it's not that we shouldn't be more open, but we also have to be mindful of the soul and spiritual contracts we enter into through intercourse. Okay, and it's not just soul and sexual contracts, but it's energetic contracts, illnesses, right? So they're pushing something in the forefront to make people be a little more mindful. Okay, and then you got know-it-all in reverse. Okay, meaning like don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Right? So it feels like what they're going to say at first is not going to be the real. Okay? Yeah, with the Page of Wands, this feels like jumping to conclusions, okay, with the Eight of Wands, and then communicating that information too quickly out, okay? And then the Land Steward, and I said that's what we were. That's what I was calling us in the last reading, right? That we were stewards of the land, right? And it's time now to take action, like right now, okay? And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there have been like fires, crazy temperatures, volcano, like just craziness going on, and the earth is screaming, right? And then you got the Four of Wands, right, coming out cross. Like this is not time to be in your house and be like, oh, nothing's a matter, right? This is the new normal with these new temperatures and all this shit. And I feel like those of us that are more committed to taking on this assignment, it's like Spirit's going to help us by starting to put things in the collective that lead to urgency. So in other words, like an area might go out, their grid might go out. Why? So that the whole nation or whatever says we need to really take this more seriously. What's good, Jennifer Lareau? We need to take these power grids more seriously. They need revising, right? Or crop shortage so that people could become more food independent, right? It feels like we're being hit in ways that are purposefully to improve our ability to get off the fucking matrix, to get off the Ferris wheel of disinformation. Okay, so it's not talking about fear, it's talking about us being more mindful, and you know how spirit is doing certain things so that in the long run we're bringing along some of these people that have been holding back the collective, okay, from doing the work that they need to do. And we had that reading that was talking about, you know, they were hijacking the spiritual message, right? So I feel like spirit's like, well, you know, let me see what I could do so that we can clear shit up out there, because this is stupid, right? And then you got the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck, so people can come into balance with their higher selves, with their soul tribes, right? I feel like they're kind of telling us, don't worry. I know it looks scary, but there's a purpose. Okay, so you got the Five of Cups, right? Crying over spilled milk, right? So these were the people with the Five of Cups that were like, you know, they may have lost people to the other pandemic or to, you know, some type of illness, right? Feeling like, you know, we're talking about the whole virus thing, right? And then the Seven of Wands here, these are the people that didn't want to hear, you know, science or anything, right? They didn't give a shit, right? And look at Spirit. Spirit's like, but I bet you're going to listen now, because I'm about to do something that's going to be, it's going to be, even though the numbers might be lower, it's going to be more in your face. It's going to be more visible. It's going to be like that kind of thing, all right? And then you have Knight of Wands. Spirit, why? I feel like governments, that was the reason why they went to the WHO the first time and gave over power, because their own citizens was not trying to hear them. Whether you agree or not, I'm just talking about what was actually like in the collective, right? And you might have had valuable reasons for not agreeing with them. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about from a spiritual perspective, okay? So people didn't want to take action, right? Now you got the Knight of Wands, messenger of acting first and thinking later, right? So we were behind the ball, right? We didn't, you know, we probably could have did better on the numbers, right? But this time we're going to be a little bit more, there's going to be a more call to action, right? With Temperance in reverse. I just said to you that 2 weeks ago we were at 600, and then today we were at 2,592 cases. So that means that it's going to be rapidly increasing, right? And Temperance being in reverse, you know, Temperance is healing, right? But there's no cure for this. This is like something where herd immunity, where you got to kind of, you know, get past it, right? And Eight of Swords, and people are going to be way more skeptical, scary, I feel like this time, because they're going to see, you know, and it's funny because I even looked it up in that way because my boyfriend had gotten hives and I wanted to make sure. But a lot of the locations that people get it is like their face, their body, but they get it on their hands and their feet, on their palms. And he didn't have that, right? And he doesn't have it, but that's not the point. The point is that people are going to get paranoid differently this time. Okay? King of Swords and the Four of Wands. And people are going to be, you know, before people didn't want, you know, they were like, I don't like being at home. King of Swords, fact and logic with the Four of Wands. Yeah, I don't want any company. This is, I don't want any fucking company in my house. So people are going to be doing it more this time on their own, okay, to protect the ones they love, whereas that was missing last time, right? Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, Five of Wands, right? So, you know, family, generational wealth, and legacy, right? There's going to be a problem, right? Because we're going to have all these shortages happening. And then there's going to be people out from work because of this. Or they're going to say, we can't shut down again. We can't not from work because we're already in a financial like crisis. Five of Wands. We still haven't gotten everybody else back to work, right? Right? Nine of Cups, right? That's going to be the companies. They're going to be like, we can't go through this. Now, this looks to me like the government might go their way and then regret it later. Okay, but this also can be it could be that certain segments refuse. But I feel like there are going to be some companies that are going to be more apt because they've done it before. Like they know how to make the transition smoother this time. So a lot of them will comply, but there's going to be certain ones. And I feel like restaurants is going to be heavily affected because people aren't going to want to eat. Okay. And then you got the King of Cups. King of Cups, provider of emotional support and maturity, right? And the Two of Swords. And these were the non-believers who were stuck in their emotions and, you know, sometimes to misguided loyalties, to beliefs, like they didn't want to believe in science or anything, right? They may still be defensive, okay? But if you look at this King of Cups and his crew, they don't look well, right? There's something here about this King of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So workplaces, schools becomes an issue with the Ten of Wands. Okay, I feel like financially, it may pose a bigger threat, okay? The Three of Cups here. Spirit is too much. So it's a party places here, right? And then you got the Two of Cups, which is at the bottom of the deck here, right? Smaller events, soulmate type events, right? But the Four of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Let me tell you something. That multiple person dating, that's something else that is being pushed to the side, okay? I feel like a lot of people going to be paranoid, all right? And then you comes out with the Queen of Pentacles. What's good, Copenhagen? Like they... gotta be honest. It feels like Spirit's trying to encourage particular types of relationships. More committed, quintessential spouse relationships, soulmate connections, okay? Not so much getting out and about. I guess what Spirit is saying is put an end to that hot girl, hot boy summer fucking right now. High Priestess, okay? You know, you have one person, that's fine. Make sure that they're only fucking with you too. All right? Because this ain't the season. All right? And I don't just mean like, you know, intimately, but like, I don't want, you know, people breathing all up in my face, spending 20 minutes, you know, look deep into my eyes and you're not my person. okay? Because I'm breathing in your, what is it, carbon dioxide? Like, you know, we're breathing in each other's air, right? Right? And this is spirit showing like it's going to transform the way we look at the Two of Cups, the soulmate connection, death and transformation for the Three of Wands, because they want us to start moving away from the things that have torn us down. I'm not talking about straight or gay. Okay, we already established that's not what I'm talking about. But they're talking about a return to more intimate relationships and less of the other shit, because this is how things happen, right? Now you have the Devil at the bottom of the deck and the Seven of Cups. Don't let your fear, you know, see every little thing as scary or conspiracy. Okay, I feel like spirit really got their hand in this, and I'm not saying that this wasn't manufactured and put out there, right? Oftentimes, spirit uses situations in our 3D and then turns it to their benefit. And if you think, look at this. I mean, you got the Devil with the Seven of Cups, right? So there could have been a thing here of trying to use people's fear, right? Cause illusions, right? And then you have the Hierophant, right? Open faith, right? So I feel like even something that might have been used to try to get a particular amount of control over the collective is not going to work, all right? It's going to actually push people to go back towards, or I should say, in the direction of going back to more committed relationships. And you see Spirit, Star card, okay, trying to bring us into alignment with what would be better for us, okay? I feel like here you're seeing a lot of people who didn't care last time. They're going to feel differently. Okay, with the Nine of Swords, anxiety and sleepless nights, right? Because this time they're going to see the truth, right? You got the Five of Swords here, okay? I feel like the Five of Swords in this image, these are these people who didn't believe. You see how their way of thinking looks dismembered. Like, you know, I'm telling you, a lot of these people, they're going to be confronted with situations that's going to cause them to have to rethink how they saw things or whatever, okay? So look at toil and labor, high honor, courtship, sudden wealth at the bottom of the deck. Toil and labor. Gratitude, right? I feel like a lot of the industries will not be touched. So what I mean by that is that only certain industries will feel it the hardest. Okay, they're still saying food to me, right? Also, I feel like most companies won't have to completely shut down. Okay, they will be able to like do things in shifts or whatever, so that they limit the amount of people that are there at the same time. And it's something about longer times out. So in other words, if you did get it, you're going to be out longer than you would have been with the first virus. Okay, but it's going to allow jobs to rotate. Okay, because they're going to extend something because they don't want communal type shit. Okay, you got high honor here. I feel like we're going to be a little bit better at addressing this crisis because we had the last one. Okay, so and maybe that's what Spirit meant about 2 decades out. There would be something like devastating. And so therefore, they're going to give us a lot of smaller little things to prepare us. Okay, so that we have, yeah. So change is coming incrementally so that we can be successful later, okay? And things are going to be coming into balance with the people who didn't want to believe in science. Like, all that's going to start to calm down. Courtship, okay? They're also talking about here with, you know, committed relationships. If you know, you're going to see most people have nothing to worry about, okay? And then sudden wealth, okay? So like this is going to be a situation where, you know, if your partner has a job where they don't come very much into close contact with people, right? They don't come into a lot of close contact. They do a lot of work by themselves. And then your partner says, oh, well, I caught it at work. You know, you're going to be like, because there's going to be different ways where you got it this time. And what I mean by that is that it is involving fluids or close aerial spray of saliva. Okay? So that bullshit about, you know, just like being around somebody, that's not the case, okay? So, you know, let's keep it funky, all right? And just like the first time, okay, with this sudden wealth, people are going to fare pretty well, right? With the death and transformation, right? I'm learning that endings are new beginnings. So even though we have to shift to something else, we're gonna actually be putting a death to fear. We have nothing to fear. We just have to be imaginative about how we shift, because Spirit is basically saying that this is not the last time, that these are gonna be coming. Before it used to be, you know, maybe one a decade or whatever. This is gonna be happening much more frequent. And so we will have to be using the way that we need to turn collectively. Okay? You only kiss your dog, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, we're going to have to, every situation, instead of being fearful, right? We have to be more mindful and change the way we do things, okay? It's not going to be large groups anymore. I feel like Spirit's trying to purposely keep us in situations where it's smaller communal things, all right? Now, and remember, I was saying that those non-believers are going to be more freaked out. And look, okay, because it's gonna be, you know, more visible, so people are gonna be afraid of like simple shit like a pimple. Meanwhile, last time they could have died, you know, from pneumonia, and they didn't want to put a damn mask on, right? So it's gonna be like that. Like, it's gonna be weird. Like, the same people that were, you know, and I feel like at first they're not gonna be worried, because it's gonna be like, oh well, that's not our problem, that's the gays' problem, right? No, that's not fucking true. Right? And then once it starts becoming where they can see people with visual signs, they're going to be freaking out. So the very same people that didn't give two shits last time are going to be upset this time. All right? And that's pretty much, you know, what Spirit is saying. All right? So I am not going to keep you. I'm going to talk to Spirit and see what they want me to recommend that everybody, you know, make a little oil of. And when I do, you guys will see me back on, okay? So tomorrow I will come on, most likely in the afternoon. For those of my members and Patreon, okay? Next week's reading is already up. All four signs for all four elements for August are already up. And for those of you who might want to join that, yeah, all that stuff is up already for August. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And if you're a new viewer and you felt I resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment, as I'd love to have you as part of the Lovely Soul family. I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Namaste, gang gang. Bye.